What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is the Draftkings picks and prediction show for UFC Nashville. We have Cory Sandhagen going against Rob Font. We have a 12-fight card after Sean Woodson got his 60th opponent in the last week. And yeah, it's a very good card. I think it's pretty stacked from top to bottom outside of the crappy Aleksa Camur Tanner Boser fight where nobody really cares about, but every other fight is going to be pretty fun. So looking forward to it from a DraftKings perspective, from a betting perspective, and from a fan perspective. But tonight we'll talk some DraftKings. I'm here with Gordo, Weezy, and Monk. We'll kick it to Gordo first. What is up? Are you looking forward to UFC Nashville and a card that I heard you will be attending?
I will be attending. I'm very much looking forward to doing that. And come on, I get to see a Canadian live in person. It's the GOAT, Tanner Boser. Maybe I'll get a mullet like him too. No, not right now. But it is a pretty exciting card, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to go make the drive down and watch it. So a little bit of extra research this week, and one that hopefully we can pay off with.
Yeah, I'm not too happy. I have to go to Nashville on the 21st, 2nd, and 3rd of August, and I'm going to miss the card. I thought it was going to line up to a point where I can go to both the wedding and the card, but that's not the case. So so that kind of sucks, but I will be in Nashville in August as well, but just later in the month with nothing going on. Weezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to some UFC at Nashville?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, great city, Nashville. Great card. I'm liking a lot of these fights. Can't wait to see who Woodson's next opponent is going to be after he loses this one. I'm hearing Clarissa Shields, the female GOAT. I think that would be a fight that people would really want to see. So hopefully that happens. But the rest of the fights, if that doesn't happen, are great on this card. So really looking forward to chopping it up with you guys, and hopefully we stack them again this weekend.
Me too. And by the way, there is a Nashville story that I want to tell. But I don't want to get demonetized, so I'll have to tell it off camera. But I really want to tell it. Maybe later. Monk, are you looking forward to UFC Nashville?
Absolutely. I hope Gordo is too. You could get go see Yakov Smirnov if you get a chance. That guy's always in fucking Nashville for sure. But yeah, this card seems really good for DraftKings for sure. There's several fights that I really like. Several fighters have made the optimal lineup multiple times. In fact, right off the top of my head, 6 fighters have made optimal 3 times in their UFC career since 2021, and Sandhagen 4 times. So that's a ton.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, I say we get into it, and like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're going to talk some DK here. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns throughout the stream, be sure to type them in the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the show. All right, we're going to kick it off, as always, with the fight to target. There are a lot of options sticking out. We're going to kick it first to Gordo. What is your favorite fight to target for UFC Nashville?
Oof, well, there are a bunch of options to talk about. I'll take the one that, for some reason, it seems to be one I'm really looking forward to because it could be an absolute slop fest, but it is projected to end inside the distance. That's Jeremiah Wells versus Carlson Harris. That's one I really have my eye on this week, and it seems to be a fight between 2 guys who are just offense first, defense second, and maybe not even second, maybe defense third kind of thing, because both these guys are so offensively minded. And in a spot like this, when you do have a fight that is so anticipated and inside the distance, this is a fight I want to target. I think that there is finish upside on both sides of things. I don't mind the line on Harris at 7.7, and it should be a very good fight to target.
Yeah, I went with that one as well. So that put a damper on my plans there, Gordo. So if I had to pick another one, it would be the main event, Cory Sandhagen, Rob Font. I'm like very high on Cory Sandhagen this week. I think he has a lot of upside, but so does Rob Font. I mean, both these guys and their volumes incredible. Like for cash games, I haven't stacked in a while. It's been a long time since I've done it, but it just seems like the easiest stack in the world this week. To go up and get Cory Sandhagen, where in a win he can put up a massive score, and then Rob Font, like if he loses this fight, which I do expect him to, like even in a loss, Rob Font can go up there and put up a big score as well. I remember against Marlon Vera, the guy put up over 200 significant strikes in a loss. So I think it's a great fight to target the main event. I think both guys just have a ton of upside. Weezy, what is your favorite fight to target this week?
Yeah, pretty much all of them. This card is just so full of great fights to target. But I mean, come on, Billy Quarantillo versus Damon Jackson. I mean, these are 2 of the best DraftKings players on planet Earth. Billy Quarantillo just puts up absolutely bonkers numbers. We were talking about it on Just the Tip last night. Let's get the numbers in front of me here. Quarantillo lands 11.18 distance strikes per minute and attempts 23.69. He's landing 7.35 significant strikes per minute. Damon Jackson is a guy who's also pretty high volume, landing about 4.7 distance strikes per minute on 14.08 attempts. But he's got 14 takedowns in only 10 fights, 2.35 takedowns per 15 minutes. He goes for submissions. He gets reverses. His fights are, and Billy Quarantillo is somebody who gives up some minutes on the ground. So I could see whoever wins this fight getting in the triple digits and being optimal, because they're both just absolutely great with their pace. And this fight is really also favored to finish inside the distance. One of my favorite bets of the week was the under 2.5 this week.
Heck yeah, definitely another good one. My favorite fight on the card there. Monk, what is your favorite fight to target this week?
I definitely have all those. The fourth one I had was Hadley and Durden, just because any Durden fight you should definitely target. He scores a ton, gives up a ton. But really, I wanted to echo what you said. The main event is the clearest stack statistically in the history of stacking fights. These guys have fought 9 times since 2021. They have, between those two, Sandhagen, Font, and their opponents, 122% optimal. How is that even possible? Well, they've both been involved in optimal stacks so far. There haven't been, I mean, I could count the number of them on one hand since 2025, and both Sandhagen and Font have both been involved in optimal stacks. So these guys score out of this world, Sandhagen especially, and Rob Font is priced as such that if he wins, he's likely going to make the optimal lineup. Yeah, I'm playing the crap out of this fight, likely stacking it for cash, and then just trying to figure out the other 4.
Right there with you. There we go. 3 very good fights to target there. Let's move on to the fight to fade. We'll kick it off with our Uncle Weezy. Weezy, what fight are you fading this week?
I think the best one to fade is probably Boser versus Camur. When you look at past performance of the fighters involved, Boser scoring 2.27 DraftKings points per minute on average, and Camur scoring 2.5. So like Camur would be scoring about 67.5 points in a decision win at that pace. And it would be even less than that for Boser. Now, both these guys have power. I could see there being a finish either way in this fight potentially. But Boser has been very durable over his career. I think he's got 10 losses in his career, and he's only been finished twice, I think. And Camur is a guy who's got a pretty good chin on him too. So, and neither one of these guys wrestles. And that's why the DraftKings paces are so low for these guys. So if there is one that stylistically should be a stand-up, fairly low volume striking match, this would probably be the one.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to pick something different, but I really can't. I don't have that much interest in this fight as a whole from a betting perspective, from a DraftKings perspective, and quite frankly, from a fan perspective. This is one that I probably just won't even be watching. So I actually think Camur's very live to win this fight, but even if he wins, like does he score all that well? I'm not so sure. So gonna be fading this fight for the most part. Monk, what fight are you fading this week?
Yeah, that's number 1, and I'll agree with Sean V in the chat. I'll fade a little bit of the Bahamondes and Ľudovít Klein fight, just because I think that one goes to decision. Also, Bahamondes on average in his 4 fights in the UFC, 90 points per win, just under 91. Ľudovít Klein, 7 points below that at 83. Neither guy allows more than 85, and in fact, when Klein loses, his average giving up points is just 75. So I kind of think this one goes to decision, paired with their relatively low DraftKings pace and DraftKings points per win overall. I'm kind of thinking this is one of like 2, maybe 3 fights you could fade. I usually pick 4 for each category, during the day before the show. I have 1 left over. I could not find a 4th fight to fade.
Yeah, there really aren't a ton of them this week. And Gordo, which fight are you fading this week?
Yeah, I was going to be different with the Bahamondes Klein one, but Monk covered that one pretty well there as well. The clear one is Camur versus Boser, and as much as I'm, trying to be positive and say I'm out there seeing a Canadian, it doesn't appeal too much to the DraftKings side of things, and it is a fight that I agree should be faded this week over the rest.
Sounds good. Easy enough. Let's move on to the fighter to fade, and I'll kick this one off. My fighter to fade is Sean Woodson. 9,600, which is just kind of ridiculous here. I'm not sure if they're going to change this or update this, because right now it says Sean Woodson 9,600, no game, and all the way at the bottom they still have Jesse Butler, which was 50 opponents ago. So I'm not sure what DK is doing there, but yeah, if Sean Woodson stays at 9,600, I mean that's the easiest fade of the week. I actually like him to win this fight against Bazooka, but I don't see much finishing upside, at least early. I don't see any takedown upside from Woodson. I mean, this is a very, very easy fade here if they do keep him at 9,600. Even if they drop him down a little bit, I don't have much interest either. Gordo, who are you fading this week?
Yeah, I don't like agreeing too much, but it seems like if the salaries stay the same, this is going to be the consensus pick here. Sean Woodson, 9.6. I love the guy, St. Louis native. I'll be cheering for him there this weekend. But, I mean, he opened up as an underdog in this fight itself, and yet he's sitting at 9.6. I know he's got some steam. I know he is the favorite now, but he is still someone who the line's just not there. And even when he's going out there and winning fights, Bazooka's been pretty durable. It seems to one where Woodson could use his range to his advantage, and it wouldn't score too well in the process, especially not over the likes of Tatiana, Suarez, and Cory Sandhagen. So Sean Woodson, if he stays at 9.6, is a very clear fade.
Absolutely. Monk, which fighter are you fading this week besides Sean Woodson?
Yeah, that has to, I assume that has to change. That would be a crime. Let's see. I will go with Kennedy Nzechukwu at, what is he, 8,400 this week. Dustin Jacoby scores better overall. Nzechukwu in 3-round light heavyweight fights, I believe that we are at 87 points per win. That is it overall. So he's definitely a bit up and down with his scoring. Whereas Jacoby in those 3-round light heavyweight fights that he's involved in, giving up only 68.74, the lowest score allowed on the entire card overall. So I just don't, outside of a first-round finish, I don't see Kennedy getting it done. Jacoby only been finished once in these 3-round light heavyweight fights, and I believe it was by submission, and that is something I am definitely not expecting. So we may get into that later, we'll see, but definitely not expecting that from Kennedy Nzechukwu here. I think he's a bit too expensive this week, and I actually not a bit too expensive at 8,400. That's incorrect. But as a favorite, I will be looking to fade him a little bit. Well, at least be trying to get under the field and possibly over on Dustin Jacoby. But yeah, Jacoby just not allowing any points, man.
Man, don't tell Weezy about that fade on Kennedy. Weezy, which fight are you fading this week?
I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. I know it's a risky fade. It's a risky fade for sure. But I think I might get to a Barcelos money line at some point bet this week. I think he's live to actually win the fight. If Hani grapples here, he's got a path to victory. Barcelos scores 3.97 DraftKings points per minute, so he's a high outpick guy. He's hard to finish. He's priced at only 7,200, so that's a great way to free up salary with a really good, well-rounded fighter. And Kyler Phillips is not Umar Nurmagomedov. So, but he's very dynamic. He's very explosive. But there's a long way off. There's a USADA suspension that evidently other guys at the MMA lab have also been caught with Ostarine in their system. So I don't know, man. It just seems like there's a couple of questions here. And Barcelos is really good everywhere. I mean, there's no place in the fight where he's not going to be comfortable and capable. So I think you can fade Kyler Phillips this week at 9,000. I look at the names around him, and I think that they're better DraftKings plays.
Yep, I agree with that one. Let's move on to our favorite dog here. I kind of struggle with this one because there's a lot of dogs I like, but not really any dogs I love. We'll start with you, Monk. Who's your favorite dog this week?
I'm going to go with the gentleman at 7,700 this week, Carlston Harris. Over Jeremiah Wells. I believe Gordo was the one that suggested that was a fight to target. I completely agree. Both of these guys. Well, Carlston Harris, he is 2. I know he's 3-1 in the UFC, 2-1 specifically in 3-round welterweight fights. I believe one was at Catchweight. I think Gordon missed weight by 45 pounds or something in that fight. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, 2-1 at 3-round welterweight, 100% finish rate, win and loss for Carlston Harris here. I just love the upside. 102 points per win in those fights. Even if you include the Jared Gordon fight, or not Jared Gordon, you know who I'm talking about.
Gooden.
Yeah, Gooden. Thank you. 105.6 overall points per win for Carlston Harris there. So I think he has tremendous upside at 7,700. This fight should be a barn burner. I know Wells is undefeated, but this could be a step up. I mean, remember Harris's only loss is to a guy named Shavkat Rakhmonov. So let's see, man. I'm pretty interested to see what he can do for Jeremiah Wells, and I think he has potential to score well at 7,700.
Yeah, I went with the exact same one. Carlston Harris, 7,700, just because I think this fight's just going to be an absolute car crash. I think somebody's probably getting served here in the first round. And I know Wells has never been finished, but I mean, this guy has some of the worst striking defense you'll ever see. I think on paper it's like 40%, and his distance striking is like 43%, which is, really, really bad. So I think this guy's going to stand and bang. Both these guys have a ton of power. So at 7,700, I don't mind some Carlston Harris, but there's not like a dog I really love on this card. But I guess that would be my favorite one there. Weezy, who's your favorite dog on the slate?
Well, I just talked about fading Phillips, and that Barcelos at 7,200 is a pretty good option. But since I already talked about that, how about Cody Durden this week? I think Hadley wins the fight, actually. I'm a big Hadley fan. The guy's really good, but the one hole in Hadley's game is that it's very easy to take him down, and if you take him down, he's not the kind of guy that tries to scramble and get back up right away. He's going to play jiu-jitsu. He's going to try to work for omoplatas, for triangles, for arm bars, and Cody Durden is going to take this dude down. So if Cody Durden wins this fight, you could probably see 5-6 takedowns, 10 to 12 minutes of control time, a bunch of little, non-significant strikes. But on DraftKings, those add up, and you're getting 0.2 of a point for each one of them. You're getting 0.03 points for every second of control time. Cody Durden's going to score some points if he doesn't get submitted here, if he doesn't get caught coming in by Hadley. It's short notice for him, so it's going to be a tough ask. But he even if he gets finished in the third round, he might rack up 40 or 50 points for you just on takedowns and striking. So he's a good option this week. I think Barcelos also a really good cheap option this week.
Yeah, I mean, if Cody Durden is able to survive the full 3, I mean, he's going to put up just a massive score and a win. Gordo, who's your favorite dog this week?
Yeah, you mentioned 3 of them, so I'm going to go a little outside the box here. Let's talk about Dennis Bazooka. I mean, we don't have the salary outlet yet. We have a lot of unknowns to really figure out here. But truth be told is we had this guy at underdog salary and a guy at Woodson 9.6. I wouldn't be surprised if Bazooka was lower end in the salary range. And if that's the case here, although I have Woodson winning the fight, and actually I've already bet Woodson, I think Bazooka's path to victory scores very well. I think Woodson's got that tall man defense. He was dropped last time. And Bazooka does carry a lot of power. So a Bazooka at a lower salary, as someone who's underdog here, someone who can be very, very live to score well. It's all just dependent on what he opens up as on DraftKings.
Yep, I'll be very curious to see where they open that up. But odds are this fight doesn't even happen, and Woodson does get a new opponent. Who'd you say was coming in there and fighting Woodson, Weezy?
Oh, I think it's Clarissa Shields is going to be now. She just got signed because so-and-so had to pull out with I don't even know what it was. I think it was gout. I think Bazooka,
Kim Winslow is the ref.
Gout. And now it's they got Clarissa Shields is ready to step up and box. I mean, that's interesting. That's compelling right there, my friends.
Good. It really is, man. It really is. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll talk some prize picks, and we'll kick it off to Gordo. Gordo, what is your favorite play that stuck out to you on prize picks?
Let me just pull it up shortly. Let's go to someone else first.
Okay. Let's go to Monk. What is your favorite play on prize picks?
I'm going to take there's a few of them that stuck out. The one that really sticks out, though, especially on second look, Jeremiah Wells under 10.5 minutes. A few of us have called that fight car crash, barn burner, etc. Fight to target. I think 10.5 minutes is being pretty generous, so I'll be looking for that to go under.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying, man. You stole my pick. You stole my pick.
Props to Gordo for saying Bazooka's got power. What a great line.
That is good.
Bazookas do have power, goddammit.
You're right.
A lot of it.
I'll look for a new one while I get to Weezy. But by the way, I wrote that Wells play down on Monday at 10 minutes, and they moved it to 10.5, which makes no sense because the under 1.5 is like a pick'em. So that makes no sense at all. Yeah, I'm on that as well, Monk, but I'll search for another while I kick it to Weezy here.
Where did the under 1.5 open, Brady? I didn't see that on.
It's on Bovada and Bet365. It's like minus 105 to the under 1.5.
Come on, man. Well, I got the under 12.5 minutes for Billy Quarantillo, and I'm looking on the sheet, and evidently that's not even a thing anymore.
No, it's not.
Okay. I took over 2 takedowns for Asu Almabayev versus Ode Osborne. Ode got taken down immediately by Brian Kelleher. Asu is going to wrestle, but Brady, on probability earlier this week, we gave out a couple. Jake Hadley under 41.5 significant strikes. And we gave out Jeremiah Wells under 36.5 significant strikes. Jeremiah, most human beings could only take 12 significant strikes from Jeremiah Wells before they die. So I don't know who's taking 34.5 significant strikes from that dude. So those are the spots that we talked about on probability. They're all good ones.
He's just got to stay on his feet this time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's kick it. Gordo, do you find anything you like?
I did, and I was pulling up. I already used Prize Picks this week, and it's hilarious because my one play I've locked in is the under in the Wells fight and the over in Almabayev's takedowns. So there we go. Good play so far. Another one I have locked in is the under fight time for Cory Sandhagen. I know it's a risky one, 22.5 minutes, though, something that I do see him having the opportunity to go out there and finish someone in Rob Font. So I am on the under here. I think that Sandhagen does have some finishability, and it's a line that I don't really mind. 22.5 minutes to really go out there and try to test the chin of Rob Font is something that I like happening here. Cory Sandhagen seems to be eager to get a win and back to the top, and I like the under.
All right. Yeah, I love all the plays we mentioned. Like I said, I had the under for the Wells, but I'll go with a different one. I'm going to put this as PG as possible. I think Tatiana Suarez is going to F Jéssica Andrade this Saturday and F her in the first round after a couple takedowns. So I like the more on Tatiana Suarez fantasy score, 109.5. It's a lot, but you get 100 points right there for a first round bonus. I expect a couple takedowns mixed in. I expect some ground and pound in there. And I think she hits that in the first round there. So, yeah, but I love that Wells one. And then the one you mentioned, Weezy, the Asu takedowns, I love that one as well.
Yeah, Asu loves to wrestle.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so those were some prize picks. Last week, I had the Poirier over on strikes. I actually really liked that one, and then it died in the second round. Yeah. So that sucked, but hopefully we can get it going this week. All right, let's move on then to our favorite GPP play. And speaking of Asu Almabayev, he is my favorite GPP play this week. 8,600 for a guy that he looks like the real deal. I mean, this guy looks very, very good from what I've seen. He can wrestle very good. He can grapple very good. He has great cardio. He has great fight IQ. He is going to be making his debut, though, which is always worrisome. But he's going against Ode Osborne, who is definitely dangerous early, dangerous wherever the fight goes. But, as the fight goes on, we do see Ode slow down more and more. I expect Asu to go out there, get takedowns, get control time, and potentially get a late finish as well. So I like me some Asu. 8,600. I think it's a very solid price tag there. And his money line's just been getting hammered all week. I think I saw him at -200 last time I checked. Weezy, who's your favorite GBP play this week?
Yeah, I was going to say Asu, but, why not Billy Quarantillo? I mean, if Damon Jackson can't finish this dude, eventually Billy's going to knock him out. Billy is scoring 5.18 DraftKings points per minute. So if you extrapolate that out, that's over 75 points in a loss if this thing goes to decision the way that this dude fights. He fights like his hair is on fire. He's constantly walking forward. He's constantly throwing and throwing with power too. The pressure breaks most people. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. So I don't think he's ever lost a fight by submission in his career. He hasn't. So that's going to be Damon's path in order to win this fight, is to get takedowns, get to the back, and try to work for submissions or just win a ton of minutes in the grappling exchanges here. And Billy will give up some of that, but I really do believe that this guy, he's going to catch him at some point. And the way that this dude scores points, I mean, he gets finishes, he's optimal. He gets decision wins, he's optimal. If he's a huge underdog and gets a decision loss, he could still be optimal just if no other underdogs win. So just because of the pace that he puts out there, you got to love pace in DraftKings. Pace brings you DraftKings gold, and that this guy brings the pace in a wheelbarrow.
Sorry, I was laughing at Jay's comment. I'm not going to bring it up, but that was a good one, Jay. I mean, I suppose. Gordo, who you like it for GBP this week?
Yeah, Andrade would use that for her OnlyFans if he gets her there. Just look and make some more money. All right. Yeah. I mean, Weezy did a great breakdown on Billy Q, but he was really the guy I want to talk about here. Truth is, I will be the the biggest Billy Q fan in the arena the weekend. Not only because I love watching a fight, I have a lot of him on DraftKings, but he's the reason I'm in Nashville. I mean, the guy helped me out with some tickets there, so I'll be sitting in this cheering section, be hanging out with them there, and it'll be really fun to go out there and watch him fight. I mean, a super nice guy, but he is just DraftKings gold. He fights at a super killer to be killed pace, super high pace. He's gone out there, scored 125, 141, 109, 131, and 85 in his 5 wins in the UFC. Very, very electric scores. And I mean, Weezy gave you some better analogies than I can about how well he scores, but I do think he goes out there, he melts Damon Jackson, and puts up a very good GBP score in the process.
Yep, I like it. I'm gonna have a ton of Billy Q. I think you got it this week. And then Monk, who's your favorite GBP play this week?
I'm going to go back to the well here. Cory Sandhagen at 9,300. I think
you're going to say you're going to go back to the well and then take Jeremiah Wells.
Oh, I should have.
You should have.
Did you see the instant panic on my face when you started talking? I was like, fuck, I'm muted, aren't I? Cory Sandhagen just scores very well overall. I mean, 106 over 9 wins on average. Very high ceiling of 124. Has a couple of round 1 finishes as well. I mean, controls 55% of the grappling time that he is involved in. And we all know the stats I already mentioned about the stacks and the constant optimals basically for all of these guys. But just for Sandhagen, 4 out of his last 5 optimal. I mean, he put up 120 against Cheeto. What a fantastic performance that was. Even if he didn't get the split decision, he still would have scored 90 points without that decision in that 5-round fight. 96 against Song Yadong and 125 against Edgar. So he can put up huge scores. The longer the fight goes, he can put up huge scores by finishing fights early. And Rob Font, very durable. I tend to think this goes, a lot longer than probably past 3 rounds. Maybe not the whole 5, so Brady can hit his price picks under 22.5 there. But yeah, I just think was it Gordo? I just think the winner scores well, and I think Sandhagen wins more often than he doesn't. So I think at 9,300, there's a lot of possible value here.
Yep, absolutely. He'll be my highest owned fighter on the slate, more than likely. All right, let's move on to our favorite cash play. And yeah, although I love Sandhagen quite a bit, I think a pretty easy click for me this week is going to be going down and getting Rob Font in there at 6,900. I think he loses. I'm actually pretty confident he loses, and I actually think he could even get knocked out. But I mean, this guy's volume is just ridiculous. Like if this fight gets to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, 6.46 significant strikes land per minute. I mean, it was that Vera fight where he just got destroyed. Like every round he got dropped, he got hurt, he got wobbled, and put up 114. Like if this guy can go out there and survive 5 rounds, he's probably going to put up like close to 100 in this fight. That is going to be all striking. So, yeah, I like me some Rob Font just because it allows you to go up and get Sandhagen. I'm going to stack it this week. I think stacking's a great idea for the main. And then I got to go up and get my girl Suarez as well. So I need to go down and get somebody low, and Rob Font just makes a ton of sense in cash. Gordo, who are you liking for cash this week?
Yeah, other side, I think Cory Sandhagen for cash for me. And you mentioned all the points about stacking him. I get it. To me, Sandhagen is just durable enough to the point where even in a loss, I think he goes out there and puts up at least 60, 70 in his own right. The guy's floor is immense here. And I do think that the path to victory for Font is a war of attrition over 5 rounds, which isn't the most likely outcome, but still is a possibility. And even in that case scenario, Sandhagen scores above 60, 70 points there. So I do think we have a very high volume based affair in our hands, and one that's going to score very well. For that reason, both Font and Sandhagen, but mostly Sandhagen, are great cash plays.
Yeah, Uncle Weezy, who is your favorite cash play this week?
Yeah, Sandhagen. I got to go with Gordo here. Well, actually, I got to go with both of you guys, because if you're playing a cash lineup and you omit both of these guys, get ready to flush that money down the toilet, because I kind of feel like, you got to have one of these guys or both of them in your lineup, because when you look down at the bottom there, I mean, Font's easily got the highest floor out of all of them. And then with Sandhagen, you got a guy who's scoring how many DraftKings points a minute? Dude, 3.63 DraftKings points per minute. You multiply that 3.63 times the 25 minutes of the fight. That brings you up to 90.75 points without a win bonus involved. So, and not only that, Sandhagen's been mixing in the takedowns, at least like 25 or almost 30 takedown attempts over his last 3 fights. So he could actually get you some grappling points as well. He's very high volume on the feet. And more importantly, Font's high volume. so that these guys are going to stand on a napkin and kick the shit out of each other for a long time until somebody goes down. And I got a lot more faith in Sandhagen's durability at this point in both of their careers than I do Font's, but both of these guys are durable. Font's never been knocked out. Still, he's been dropped 5 times in his last 3 fights, but he's still never been knocked out. So yeah, either one of those guys, you know, if you leave them out of your cash lineup, help you.
Yeah, especially if it goes 5 rounds. I hope it doesn't, because I have a bet on Sandhagen to get a finish. But if it goes 5 rounds, this fight's going to put up 1 million points. I think we're at Monk, right? Monk, who's your favorite cash play?
Yeah, it's likely either one of those guys you said, but I'll take Tatiana Suarez, like whoever mentioned. I just think Jéssica Andrade hasn't looked great lately. Didn't look great against Blanchfield. I know that was up at 125, and this is 115. Suarez, didn't dominate Montana De La Rosa like we all kind of thought she would, but she still scored 99.75 points. So maybe not the best play at 9,500 for GPP, but I think for cash, this is a very solid option. And if you're stacking, just like you said, Brady, and hopefully we don't have the same lineup, you can start with the main, and then you can easily get Suarez in there as well. So just kind of the way I'll be looking to play it this week in several of my lineups.
Sounds good. Yes, I love me some Suarez and Sandhagen and Font. I think that's a great start to a cash lineup. All right, let's go down to our favorite value play. This is somebody that I believe Weezy talked about, and it's going to be one Raoni Barcelos. He's sitting at 7,200, and it's a fight where I just think there's red flags really on both sides. I mean, with Kyler Phillips, he's coming back from the suspension, a little bit of a layoff, but he is still going to be 8 years younger. On the Barcelos side, he's now 36 years old, just got brutally knocked out. He's coming in on short notice. So, but skill for skill, I think these guys are very, very close. Even though Barcelos is clearly on a decline here, I think this fight at the very least can be competitive here. And like Weezy said, if Barcelos can go to the grappling, like we've seen Phillips taken down later in the fight when he tires out and gets stuck on his back. And I could see Barcelos going out there, out wrestling this guy down the stretch. Just the short notice aspect of things kind of worries me, but it's not priced as if it's a close fight. It's priced as if Kyler Phillips is going to go out there and either finish him or dominate him, and I just don't see that fight playing out that way. So I'll be on Barcelos, I think, at 7,200. Not only can he win this fight, but if he does win this fight, he's not a bad DraftKings scorer by any means. So I like Barcelos, and there's a lot of value there. Monk, who's your favorite value play this week?
Well, I'm going to keep going back to the same fight because really statistically it's blowing my mind as a DraftKings stat guy. 122% optimal is just crazy. So Rob Font is the obvious answer at $6,900. Guys, in his last 2 losses, Jose Aldo, he put up 77. And if you're like, well, I'm a super snob when it comes to my underdogs, and that's not quite enough. Well, he scored 114 against Marlon Chito Vera in his loss there. So, yeah, Rob Font, another guy other than Sandhagen that can absolutely get it done. And if he wins, we're getting him at the deal of a lifetime. He will never be as low as this again. I think the lowest in his last 5, he was 7,200 against Marlon Moraes, in which he scored 118 points in that win. Other than that, it was 77 when he was against Giannis, nowhere close to 6,900. So tremendous possible value for Rob Font here.
Yes, you're muted.
Yes.
Yeah. I was typing something in the PC. My bad.
Typing unmute microphone.
Gordo, what do you got for us?
Some good plays there. I think if we're talking value for me this week, it's going to be Cody Durden. And it's not someone who I picked to win the fight. I expect against him, but there's no denying that if Durden wins this fight, he's going to score incredibly. I mean, the guy is a very proactive grappler. We see Hadley go out there and lose one fight by wrestling. And although I think that Hadley may be the far superior grappler, he's contentedly on his back, and that's going to allow Durden to accrue points. He's very aggressive with that wrestling. We know that's going to be his game plan. For that reason, at 7.4K, if Durden wins this fight, he's going to score very, very well and could look like hindsight value. Didn't pick him to win. However, still going to have a lot of ownership because of that potential upside.
Yep, I feel the exact same way. And then Weezy, favorite value play for this week?
Yeah, it's going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, and the guy that I max bet for 5 units, Kennedy Nzechukwu. I think Kennedy's getting better each fight, and I think he's rounding out his game. I feel as if there are several paths to victory for Kennedy in this spot. He can win minutes in the clinch with his knees and elbows. He can wrestle and try to grind out Dustin on the mat, or he could pressure relentlessly on the feet and throw those nasty step-in knees that we saw him landing against Cutelaba. He just looked like he was walking up the stairs, and he was absolutely, rock'em sock'em roboting Cutelaba's chin straight up in the air with those knees. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage in this spot. And now in his recent fights, instead of kind of just standing in that defensive shell and standing there, he's actually pressuring and walking forward. And that was the reason I max bet him. Jacoby's a guy who needs room in order to be able to get off that kickboxing attack that he has. He can't be pressured relentlessly and be able to outpoint fight somebody like Kennedy. Not at a 7-inch reach disadvantage, not at a power disadvantage, not at a wrestling disadvantage, not as the older guy. There's a lot of and at a conditioning disadvantage too. This guy's a conditioning freak. So I think Kennedy is going to shave his ass on Saturday, and I think he's going to put up triple digits and be optimal because he's only 8,400.
All right, but who has the better hairstyle?
Oh, it's Kennedy. Come on, man. I grew up. House Party, Kid and Play were integral to my youth, Brady. And, when I see a high top fade that rivals the great Kid from Kid and Play, it gets me excited. As excited as an 83-inch reach, as excited as a 6'5" guy that never gets tired and's got a ton of power. So I'm really hoping he makes it look easy and makes a genius out of me on Saturday.
Does 6'5" include the flat top or no?
No, dude, he's 6'9" with that flat top.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like Chevy Chase and Fletch.
Yep. All right, there we go. I like it. Let's move on to our dart throw. I'll kick this one to Monk. Who is your dart throw for this week?
Well, everyone's counting her out, including myself for the most part, but her numbers are absolutely spectacular in 3-round strawweight fights. And I'm speaking of Jéssica Andrade. 5.7 points a minute at the weight class in 3-round fights, 11 points a minute inside the distance, 123 points per win out of 5 wins. I believe she has she's like 5-1, something like that at the weight class. Doesn't matter, it's a ton. Just outstanding scoring. Her ceiling is second highest on the entire card. It's overall highest, 141. I was going to say Suarez has just a couple of points lower than that. But all of Andrade's numbers just jump off the page. I mean, she's got a first-round finish win, at least one, maybe even 2, 88% takedown defense. Here's what the stat I was looking for was 5 of her 6 wins at the weight class in 3-round fights, 100 or more points. At 6,700, if she does what no one thinks she can do, she's definitely going to make the optimal. That said, that salary is the worst one to play, about a 4% win rate. But I don't mind going well over that. And by well over, I mean like 10%, maybe 15 and if I'm feeling crazy when I wake up on Saturday. But a little bit more than usual for the 6,700 dart throw on Jéssica Andrade this week.
Yeah, I don't completely hate it. If she does show up and get the finish, I mean, she's going to break the slate. Absolutely. I'm going with somebody who I think is going to be pretty low owned, definitely an unpopular play this week. But I mean, if he wins this fight, he's going to score very handsomely. And that is one Damon Jackson, 7,300. I mean, Damon Jackson, his path to win this fight is not going to be to stand and strike with Billy Q. If he does that, he's getting knocked out, but it's going to be to wrestle and wrestle nonstop. I mean, this guy's very dangerous on the mat, multiple submission wins. This guy can wrestle, and he doesn't really slow down. He did slow down a little bit in the Argueta fight, and I have a feeling he might slow down here. But if his gas tank's able to hold up, maybe he can go out there, grind out a decision, maybe even submit Billy Quarantillo. And like I said, he's going to be low owned. I think the winner of this fight scores very well. Obviously, I'm on the Billy Q side, but I just can't ignore the upside that Damon Jackson brings to the table here. Weezy, who do you like this week for your dart throw?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Monk and go with Jéssica Andrade. She should be low owned, and I mean, I kind of like it whenever you get a guy like Hani Barcelos at 7,200, Jéssica Andrade at 6,700. You know that, I mean, Jessica's wore gold. I mean, like, this is a former champion here. She's fought 135. She's fought at 125. She's fought at 115. Her last 2 fights were short notice opportunities that she stepped up. She got her ass shaved both times. But guess what? This is a full camp. Well, no, it's not quite. But still, I mean, Tatiana Suarez has been away for a long time. She's constantly injured. Anything can happen. I mean, like betting a juiced women's favorite at -400, what could go wrong, right? So this is a good way if you are heavy on the gambling side on Tatiana Suarez, if you're parlaying the shit out of her all over the place, build some DraftKings lineups with Jéssica Andrade in there as a nice little hedge because if Andrade wins this fight, she's probably finishing her and is probably going to be optimal at her price.
Yep, 100%. Gordo, who is your dart though for this week?
Yeah, someone who is going to be pretty low owned, and I get why, is going to be Ľudovít Klein. 7.1K. I don't see many people going towards him, but I think he has some high ceilings in wins here. And don't get me wrong, I am picking Bahamondes to get the win here. But Klein's path to victory is going to be rooted in either a knockout or some wrestling upside. And although I don't think it happens too often, when it does happen, it could score very, very well. So a dart throwing a low ownership guy like Klein doesn't bother me too much.
All right. Yeah, we didn't really talk much about that. The Klein Bahamondes fight. I don't hate it. All right, let's move on to our lineups from last week. We'll talk about our lineups for this week. If you guys in the chat have any questions, type them in the chat right now, and then I'll get to them in a second. But let's go over the results from last week. So I had the best night of my life in betting, so it only makes sense that I completely crapped the bed last week on DraftKings. I had Miranda Maverick 104, Gabriel Bonfim 96, Semmelsberger 33, DeLima 0, Claudia Ribeiro 13, Darius Flowers 22, scoring 270.76. In third place was Gordo, Semmelsberger 31, DeLima 0, Holland 95, Poirier 10, Pereira 66, and Gaethje 96, scoring 302. In second place was Monk, Bonfim 96, Kopylov 92, Poirier 10, Gaethje 96, Chiesa 2, Eros Medic 89, scoring 389.18. And then first place was Weezy, Bonfim 96, Vergara 73, Semmelsberger 33, Holland 95, Gaethje 96, and Ribeiro 13, scoring 409.05. So not the best week in the world, but Weezy, you're able to get first place.
Yeah, top of the crap heap this week, but I'll take it. I mean, what are you going to do? 400 wins it. We didn't all have the best week, but yeah, I got Gaethje right. I stayed away from Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I actually had a bet on Derek Lewis that cashed. I didn't have him in my DraftKings lineup though, but yeah, I think Semi just crushed us all by not pulling out the win there. And yeah, I mean, it's just good to win one every once in a while against you guys. So I'm happy to get that one this week.
Yep, good stuff, Uncle Weezy. So we are 26 cards in. In fourth is Monk with 10,143. Third is Weezy with 10,489. Second is myself with 10,836. And then first place is Gordo with 10,883. I am 47 behind Gordo. We have Weezy, who is 393 behind Gordo. And then Monk is 739 behind Gordo. Gordo, you are still in first, 26 cards in.
And it's getting close. Might have to get a bit riskier on this card to try to make that lead even larger.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, lineups for this week, and then we'll answer some questions, give our quick picks, and then head out of here. I don't see any questions. Actually, I do see a couple questions. So we'll get to this in a second, guys. So lineups for this week, I will let you kick it off. Weezy, what do you got?
Okay, so I have got up top, we're going with Cory Sandhagen, Billy Quarantillo, Sue Almabayev, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and then the underdogs this week are going to be Cody Durden and Hani Barcelos.
There we go. We have three the same. Gordo, what do you got for this week?
Yeah, well, I was expecting a lot of people to either play to stack the main and take Suarez, so I went a bit different this week, but it looks like Weezy didn't do that either. So me and Weezy are kind of the same. But we'll take Sandhagen, Quarantillo, Almabayev, Diego Lopes, which we haven't talked about much today, Raoni Barcelos, and Carlston Harris.
We have four the same. Gordo, who is outside my house?
Spivak.
You do not invite Sergey Spivak in.
I don't think it's Spivak this time, but
he won't leave. He only wants one thing, and it's disgusting.
Oh, I bet it is very disgusting with that guy. Monk, what do you got for this week?
Well, I'm probably going to read off the exact same lineup you're looking at, but we will see. I could change it. It might happen. But for now, Suarez, we're going to stack the main with Sandhagen and Font, as Gordo said. We're going to play Quarantillo, we're going to play Carlston Harris, and we're going to play Cody Durden.
We actually have three the same.
Wow.
I'm taking Sandhagen up top, Font down low, Hani Barcelos, Suarez up top. I'm taking Almabayev, and then I'm taking, like Gordo, some Diego Lopes there. All right. So let's get to some questions here. What do you say? This one can go to maybe Monk has some information on this. Anybody know what more confirmation DK needs to add a fighter to the pool other than a official UFC press release?
Well, I thought it was just odds, because as soon as there's odds, generally they can put out a salary, because that's how they put out all salaries, and that's how they figure it out. I don't know what the hell's going on. We've been looking at this. Not only does Woodson say 9,600, but it's against whoever it was, Butler, and then it says no game underneath his name. So I thought it was an error when I looked yesterday, but it's still on there right now. So your guess is as good as mine, Alan.
Yeah, it seems kind of random, I guess. I don't know. So this one can go to Weezy. Victor saying, "What's up?"
What's up, Vic? Good to see you, man. I think Vic's going to be in Tennessee as well this weekend in Nashville. So, my guy Vic, enjoy the card, get it, stack them high this weekend. Let's make some money. But other than that, man, what's up is Ask Weezy tonight at 10 o'clock. So I'll be going live again in another hour and 10 minutes. I haven't had enough of talking about this fight card just yet.
This one can go to me. If Vera styled on Font like he did, what's Cory going to do to him? And I think the answer to that is some very terrible things. I think Font's very tough, but he's taken so much damage. I think Cory probably gets him out of there at some point with a big knee, with a big head kick. You know, some people are talking about like a doctor stoppage. I could see that. I think it's a tough fight for Font on short notice. And Jay, yes, this fight is on short notice. Anybody know how much short notice it was? I think it was like maybe
3 weeks.
2 or 3, yeah. Yep.
Doctor stoppage TKO. I could see it potentially. I mean, Font wears damage.
Yeah, he swells up pretty good under his eyes. So,
we can all answer this. I'll answer it first. Who has 50-point ceiling this week? I think Sandhagen's one of them. Anybody else have any?
Billy Q.
Billy Q could be one of them. Anybody else?
I mean, the winner of Suarez Andrade possibly could be high scoring. 150 is asking a lot, but it's possible.
I mean, if Suarez really puts it on her, maybe.
Carlson Harris, baby. First minute finish. Carlson Harris. Let's go.
3 knockdowns and a 33-second finish.
Yes.
That's how you get that kind of score.
Carlston Matt Frivola Harris. That's what we call him after this weekend. I like the Quarantillo call, though, a lot. That guy's ceiling is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's see. TH is saying Suarez or stacked Sandhagen and Oi. So this one's for Weezy because it says Oi at the end.
Dude, I would go with Sandhagen over Suarez this week for DraftKings, and I did do that because even though it's a 3-round fight for Suarez, you know, so everything kind of has to go perfectly. While Sandhagen could take a round or 2 off, still pile up a little bit of points in those rounds, and then get a late finish and still outscore somebody that has a really good performance. And, you know, and we've seen Sandhagen put up 150 significant strikes before. So, yeah, man, and Font is you know, hittable. So this is going to be a high-scoring fight. I would rather go with Sandhagen, rather have those 2 rounds any day, and you get $200 in price savings.
Yep, if I had to pick one, it would be Sandhagen, but I'm going to try my best to get both of them in there. And I think that is about it. So we'll do our quick picks, and then we'll head out of here. I expect the pick, and then the round, and the method, and we're going to start with Weezy.
Okay, let me refresh my page. Was there a new opponent for Woodson while the show was going on?
He's fighting Sarah Frota.
Sarah Frota.
Yeah, she's coming out of jail. I think she's in jail or something.
Oh God. Well, I mean, that depends if they let her in the ring with a shank. But let's see. All right, Cory Sandhagen knockout round 4. Tatiana Suarez submission round 2. Kennedy Nzechukwu. Why did I write decision? He's going to knock this fool out.
No, he's going to sub him in the 3rd round, please.
Kennedy Nzechukwu, 3rd round submission, plus 4,900. Pay off your mortgage with that this month. Diego Lopes, 1st round knockout. Tanner Boser decision. Ignacio Bahamondes, 3rd round knockout. Kyler Phillips decision. Jeremiah Wells, 1st round knockout. Billy Quarantillo, 3rd round knockout. Jake Hadley decision, Sarah Frota by stabbing, and then Asu Almabayev by decision.
Okay. For me, I'll take Sandhagen by second round knockout, Suarez by first round sub, Kennedy third round sub, Lopes first round sub, Camur decision, Bahamondes decision, Barcelos decision, Harris KO1, Quarantillo KO2, Hadley sub 2, and then Almabayev either late submission or decision there. And then in terms of the Woodson fight, I'm with you. I think Frota probably gets it done. Gordo, what do you got for this, the quick picks?
We're pretty similar there. I'll go the other direction because it's the way I got it pulled up here. We'll take Asio Almabayev by decision. We'll take Sean Woodson by decision as well. I got to do more tape on Frota here, so we'll keep going. We'll take Jake Hadley by, let's say, round 3 KO. Billy Quarantillo by round 3 KO. Flip a coin, honestly. We'll take Carlson Harris because he's an underdog by round 1 KO. Raoni Barcelos by decision. We'll take Ignacio Bahamondes by decision. Tanner Boser because decision, sure. We'll take Gavin Tucker also by decision. We didn't talk about that. Kennedy Nzechukwu decision again. Tatiana Suarez round 2 sub, and Cory Sandhagen round 3 KO.
Sounds good. Last but not least, Monk, what do you got for this week?
Let's go Almabayev, third round rear naked choke submission. We'll go Bazooka because it's fucking fun to say Bazooka decision, baby. Unless Sarah Frota, stabs him, steals his identity, and then then I'll pick Frota. Cody Durden, first round guillotine. Let's go. Damon Jackson. Actually, scratch that. Billy Q. I agree with Gordo. Second round KO. Jeremiah. Well, actually, no. I'm going Carlston Harris. First round KO as well. Kyler Phillips decision. Bahamondes third round head kick a la the Roberts fight. We'll go Camur decision. We will go Lopes decision, although I don't really like that. Nzechukwu finish. How about I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. Third round submission. Tatiana Suarez will go first round sub, and Cory Sandhagen by decision.
There we go. There you have it. We did it. We went through it. Great card here in UFC Nashville. I'm going to kick it around. Gordo, let the people know where they can find your plans for this week for some content.
Yeah, we're wrapping up on the content for this weekend so we can get ready to go watch the fights on Saturday. All my content is out on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. Go check out my full card breakdown, picks and predictions for DraftKings and betting is live there. I'll also be posting my full slate of bets on my Twitter Friday night, hopefully before I leave there. So check me out at Gambles Gordo. And then finally, I do some work with Brett Apley at Daily Event MMA. The new father, Brett Apley, will be making his way back, and we should be talking fights tomorrow there regardless. So that's a good service there. That'll be helping make my DraftKings lineups as well. Feel free to check that out and all the guys around me and enjoy the fights.
There we go. Enjoy the fights. Gordo, it should be a very, very fun time. Nashville is awesome. I love it. Monk, let people know where they can find you and your plans for some content for this week.
I was in Nashville as a young lad, and I do remember, I don't know if they have good catfish. I just remember somewhere I ate good catfish. So, of course, fond memories of Nashville. You can find Game Theory. It's out on my channel. Let's see. Unnamed Nickname Show tomorrow is prepped and ready to go. I've got the 4-leg parlay locked in already, so tune into that 9 p.m. Central Time. Other than that, I really am looking forward to this fight from a DraftKings perspective. A ton of guys making the optimal lineup this week. Not this week. It's still just going to be 6, but I mean historically. So
I know
very
what you mean.
much looking forward to this one.
Heck yeah. And last but not least, Weezy, let people know your plans for this week. I heard a rumor you're going live tonight for some Ask Weezy.
Yeah, man. 10 o'clock Central Time, Ask Weezy. I'm bringing out all the spreadsheets, all the mathematical formulas. I got my abacus ready. We're going to find ways to stack cash tickets like flapjacks on this card. You can find me right here on Pub Sports Radio every Sunday for Stat Diggers with Brady, every Wednesday right here for the DFS show, every Saturday for the Watch Along. Find me doing Probability on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. Just did Just a Tip with Uncle Weezy last night. Always, every week, putting in the work to do the best content that I could possibly do. Let's get it this week. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks. Let's bathe in the blood of our vanquished DraftKings enemies as well. It's time to do it, you guys. We got to make some money. Yes.
2 times. Brady 2 times.
He's got to go get the papers.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought you guys were laughing at my joke I just said. Dang it.
Oh, I mean, we could have heard it.
It was a good one. I'm not going to repeat it either. I'll keep that one to myself. Just know it was.
I'll keep that one to myself. You're punishing us because you were muted. That's terrible.
Yeah. So I did say something pretty.
I bet it was hilarious.
It was. So
here we go. We'll just sit with that for a while.
That's about. Just let that sink in. All right. Anywho, we're gonna head out, guys. Thank you for watching. I got my full card breakdown out. Gonna be going live Friday for final thoughts. Live once again Saturday for best bet. Leave a like on the way out. Subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio, and best of luck for UFC Nashville. We will see you guys later.